Right. So get this. We're diving into MicroStrategy today.
Okay.
And they were just, minding their own business, making software.
Right.
And then, bam, they decided to go all in on Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's, talk about a big change.
Huge.
Yeah.
Become like the world's, I think, biggest publicly traded Bitcoin holder.
Yeah. As of December 23rd, 444,262 Bitcoins.
Whoa.
That's a lot of Bitcoin.
A lot of anything.
Yeah.
Wow. And purchased at an average price of $58,219, which comes out to, get this, 23.41 billion US dollars.
Someone needs a bigger wallet.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So we're going through excerpts from the meteoric rise of MicroStrategy today.
Okay.
And, the rise might be meteoric, but the strategy is a bit, well, let's just say unconventional.
Yeah, unconventional is putting it mildly. I mean, in 2020, they decided to make Bitcoin their primary treasury reserve asset.
I mean, most companies, are happy with stocks, bonds, a little real estate, diversified portfolio.
Right.
But not MicroStrategy. They went all in on digital gold.
So, wait, okay, hold on. So their stock, MSTR, has become this, like, a way for investors to just basically bet on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Without buying it directly.
Right.
So it's like folks who might not even know, a blockchain from a breadcrumb are suddenly on this crypto roller coaster.
Yeah.
Because of this software company.
I think you got to hand it to them,
Yeah.
Clever way to attract a whole new class of investors.
Right.
But, of course, it also means, their stock price is basically glued to Bitcoin's volatility.
Yeah.
So fasten your seatbelts.
Oh, yeah. Big time. So speaking of personalities, let's talk about Michael Saylor, the founder, the chairman.
Right.
This guy's like, Bitcoin's biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
Just, preaching the gospel of digital gold every chance he gets. He's definitely become the face of corporate Bitcoin adoption.
Yeah. Yeah, he's made some bold predictions.
Oh, yeah.
Like Bitcoin reaching, what was it, $1 million a coin?
Yeah.
I mean, is he a visionary or just really good at marketing? I don't know. But he's made MicroStrategy a company to watch, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
But their strategy, this isn't happening in a vacuum, right? There's like a whole economic backdrop to this Bitcoin bet.
Right. I mean, we're seeing rising inflation.
Yeah.
People worried about, stability of traditional financial systems.
Right.
And suddenly, this decentralized digital asset starts looking a lot more appealing.
Yeah, it's like the financial world is having an existential crisis.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin's this life raft.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like kind of leaky, and prone to rocking back and forth.
Right.
A little unstable.
Exactly. And that's where I think the big debate comes in, right?
Yeah.
Are they brilliant for recognizing this shift, and capitalizing on it? Or are they playing with fire?
Yeah, it's a good question. Bulls are saying to the moon.
Yeah.
The bear's like, uh-oh, to the poorhouse.
All right.
Yeah, it's a real tug of war.
Big time. So let's break down these arguments.
Okay.
First, the bullish case.
Okay.
Core belief here is that Bitcoin is the future of money.
Okay.
Limited supply.
Right.
Decentralized.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially resistant to inflation.
Yeah.
If they're right, MicroStrategy is sitting on a gold mine.
Digitally speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they're betting on Bitcoin becoming the next Amazon.
Right.
Or Google,
Yeah.
Early adopter, massive potential upside.
But also a chance it all goes bust.
Right.
High stakes poker, corporate edition.
Absolutely. And then you have the whole, institutional adoption argument.
Yeah.
Big players, Tesla, Square, dipping their toes into Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
If more follow suit, that legitimizes it further, right?
Yeah.
And could send that price soaring.
Okay, so that's to the moon side. What about the bears? What are they freaking out about?
Well, their biggest worry is that MicroStrategy has basically put all their eggs in the Bitcoin basket.
Right.
They've even taken on billions in debt to buy more.
Oh, wow.
So what happens if Bitcoin takes a nosedive?
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
It is.
Like they took out a mortgage on a house made of Legos.
Right.
Looks impressive now, but
Yeah. But one wrong move.
yeah, the whole thing crumbles.
And remember that stock price tied to Bitcoin?
Oh, yeah.
Volatility is the name of the game.
Yeah.
Investors need a strong stomach and a high tolerance for risk to be along for this ride.
So while Michael Saylor is busy, evangelizing about Bitcoin,
Yeah.
the bears are warning this could be a financial apocalypse for the company.
Yeah, it's a real nail biter.
It is. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Absolutely.
It's a real interesting case study.
Yeah, big time. Welcome back to our deep dive into MicroStrategy.
Oh, yeah.
Where we're trying to figure out if their Bitcoin strategy is pure genius.
Right.
Or a recipe for, financial heartburn.
Yeah, it's a big question, right?
Big question.
Last time we left off with the bulls charging ahead
Right.
and the bears waving those red flags.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get back to that showdown,
Right.
let's talk about how MicroStrategy actually pulled off buying all that Bitcoin.
Right.
It's not like they had billions just lying around, right?
Right. They had to get creative.
Yeah.
So they turned to something called convertible debt offerings.
Okay.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
They issued bonds to investors,
Right.
which pay a decent interest rate.
Okay.
Pretty appealing, right?
Right.
But there's a twist.
Oh.
These bonds can be converted into MicroStrategy stock later on at a set price.
So it's like a bond with a potential bonus.
Exactly.
If MicroStrategy stock does well for
Right.
them.
Which, remember, is tied to Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Those bonds could turn it into a much bigger payout.
Right.
Risky, but potentially lucrative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And since their stock price is basically mirroring Bitcoin, it's a way for investors to bet on Bitcoin without actually buying it directly.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty clever, if you ask me.
It is. It is. So they're essentially borrowing money to buy more Bitcoin,
Right.
hoping that Bitcoin's rise will more than cover the cost of the debt.
Exactly.
It's like taking out a loan to buy a lottery ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But the lottery ticket is Bitcoin,
Right, yeah.
and the potential winnings could be astronomical.
That's a pretty good analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a flip side, right?
Uh-uh.
If Bitcoin tanks, they're stuck with a mountain of debt
Right.
and a much smaller pile of digital gold.
Oof.
That's why some analysts are getting nervous about MicroStrategy's leverage.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a high wire act, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
But hold on, they didn't stop there. They also decided to completely revamp their balance sheet,
Right.
making Bitcoin a core component instead of traditional cash reserves.
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Most companies have a conservative approach to their balance sheet, right?
Yeah.
MicroStrategy threw that out the window and said, let's make Bitcoin a cornerstone of our financial strategy.
Wow.
It's a bold move, and it's certainly shaking things up in the corporate world.
Yeah, it's like they decided to swap their company vault for a digital wallet
Right.
and fill it with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Talk about a leap of faith.
Big time.
But this begs the question,
Yeah.
is this the start of a trend or are they an outlier?
That's the million-dollar question. Or
Right.
maybe the million Bitcoin question.
Yeah, there you go.
If this pays off, we could see a wave of companies following their lead,
Right.
redefining how corporate finance works.
It's huge.
But if it goes south, it could scare off others and make them think twice about even touching Bitcoin.
So they're like the Lewis and Clark of corporate Bitcoin adoption, venturing into uncharted territory.
Right.
But whether they find gold or get eaten by a bear,
Yeah,
their journey is going to have a lasting impact.
absolutely.
Speaking of bears, let's revisit those arguments against MicroStrategy's strategy.
Okay.
We've touched on the debt and the reliance on Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
But what else are the skeptics worried about?
Well, they're saying that MicroStrategy is so focused on Bitcoin that they're neglecting their original software business.
Oh, okay.
It's like they've traded in their coding keyboards for Bitcoin mining rigs.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
They've definitely shifted their focus.
Mm-hmm.
The question is whether they can strike a balance.
Right.
Can they be a Bitcoin powerhouse and still maintain a successful software company?
Yeah.
Only time will tell.
Another worry is the regulatory landscape.
Right.
Governments around the world are still figuring out how to handle Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
One new regulation could throw a wrench in their entire operation.
It's like building a house on an island that might suddenly get new zoning laws.
Right.
You never know what could happen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got the bulls saying MicroStrategy is a visionary company, riding the wave of the future,
Uh-huh.
and the bears warning that they're building a house of cards on a foundation of volatile digital currency.
Yeah.
It's a real head-scratcher.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's what makes this story so fascinating.
Right.
It's a microcosm of larger debate about the role of cryptocurrency in the global economy.
Exactly. It's not just about MicroStrategy.
Mm-hmm.
Their success or failure could have ripple effects
Yeah.
throughout the entire financial world.
Absolutely.
So what do you think, dear listener?
Yeah.
Are you placing your bets on the bulls
Mm-hmm.
or siding with the cautious bears?
We've laid out the arguments.
Yeah.
But the ultimate decision is up to each individual investor.
Right.
It's a high-risk, high-reward scenario,
Yeah.
and only time will tell who comes out on top.
All right. Welcome back to the final round of our MicroStrategy deep dive.
Yeah.
You know, we've gone through their Bitcoin, bonanza, all this, the financial acrobatics they've pulled,
Right.
and the heated debate surrounding it.
Yeah.
So as we, kind of stand here at the crossroads
Yeah.
of traditional finance and the Wild West of crypto,
Mm-hmm.
the big question remains: is MicroStrategy like a stroke of genius,
Right.
or a cautionary tale?
Yeah, it's like trying to predict the weather in a hurricane, you know?
Yeah.
So many factors at play.
Right.
The outcome could be anything from, sunny skies to a complete financial wipeout.
Yeah. I mean, one thing's for sure: their strategy has definitely turned heads
Oh, yeah.
and, sparked this conversation about the future of corporate finance.
Absolutely. They've challenged the status quo
Yeah.
and forced everyone to consider whether Bitcoin, has a legitimate place in the corporate world.
So let's play a little game of what if.
Okay.
What if MicroStrategy's gamble pays off?
Right.
Like, what does that world look like?
Right. Imagine a world where holding Bitcoin on a balance sheet becomes, as common as holding stocks or bonds.
Right.
It'd be a seismic shift in how companies manage their finances.
Talk about a disruption, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're talking like paradigm shift in corporate finance.
Totally.
Suddenly that dusty old finance textbook needs a major rewrite.
For sure. And it could even, pave the way for a more decentralized and democratized financial system.
Right.
Where companies and individuals have more control over their assets.
Okay, so that's like the optimistic scenario.
Right.
What if the bears are right?
Yeah.
What if Bitcoin stumbles?
Mm-hmm.
And MicroStrategy's Bitcoin castle crumbles?
Well, it could send shockwaves through the market,
Right.
Making other companies hesitant to even consider Bitcoin as a viable asset. I mean, it could set back the whole crypto movement by years.
So they're not just playing with their own money.
Yeah.
No, they're potentially influencing like the entire financial landscape.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of pressure.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah, so it's a high stakes game with potentially huge implications.
For sure.
And the crazy part is we're watching this unfold in real time.
Yeah, it's wild.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into MicroStrategy, the listener, their story's far from over.
Right.
Whether they end up, as heroes or as cautionary tales,
Right.
Their journey is a testament to the transformative power of technology, and the unpredictable nature of the financial world.
Absolutely. And no matter what happens, their bold move has forced us all to confront, I think, the fundamental question.
Yeah.
What is the future of money?
Right.
And what role will cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin play in that future?
And we don't have all the answers, but one thing's clear: it's going to be a fascinating ride.
Oh, yeah.
So buckle up.
Absolutely.
Keep your eyes on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, sometimes the greatest risks, they lead to the most groundbreaking rewards.
Couldn't have said it better myself.